Oh, aloha everyone. Joshua Hayes at bigwavetrading.com with a weekend trade recap video from Friday's session. Um, Basically, what we're going to focus on in this video lesson is once again the beauty of good to cancel sell stops on end of day positions. I took a trade that in hindsight, clearly I shouldn't have taken, should have done better research, and that is on me for doing it. However, I've been pretty successful of buying stocks ahead of earnings and being rewarded for doing it for the majority of this year. I've only taken one where I consider max pain loss all year long in the end of day account, and we're almost to the end of the year. And that's with me buying some stocks ahead of earnings. Normally, if a stock has earnings within the next 10 days or less, I pass on it, but sometimes I make a mistake. I also want to pre-qualify this video with an apology that we're using Telechart version 7 for the end of day lessons. We are not using version 19, which is way more dynamic and user-friendly, and I use that intraday whenever I'm day trading, but on an end-of-day basis, I use Telechart version 7 because 19 will not match the BOP with the price bars in the price portion of the graph. So this video lesson, we're going to go over that one loss that could have been a huge loss. I'm going to show you the executed orders on Friday that saved me. Turned out at the end of it all, aggregating all of the sell stops together, I took a 6% loss on this trade. It could have been a 30% loss had I not used stops. But before that, I'm also going to give out a new long signal at the end of the video. But before that, just to show you, with this huge loss, this potential huge loss that I did not sustain personally because I used stops, that we also had plenty of winners on during Friday's session. So once again, these video lessons, some for new traders and new viewers, this is going to seem overwhelming, but I will remind everybody it's much different for me on an end-of-day basis to intraday basis. Intraday on Friday, there were only two stocks I was focused on in trading. CCCL, because it hit my holy grail in low float massive volume scan at the start of the session, and LMPX, because I've been watching this stock since day one of its IPO, because as it's rallied higher, insiders have been buying it, and on the morning of Friday, this had its biggest volume surge at the start of the session, and those volume bars eclipsed all of the previous day's volume bars minus the very first initial minute. So LMPX and CCCL, these were the only two stocks I was watching intraday on Friday. So whenever you see all these end of day signals and all these positions I'm long on an end of day basis, I just want to remind everybody it's totally different intraday compared to end of day. End of day, if I had 200 stocks I was long, the only way I would be long those 200 stocks is if they were moving higher or going nowhere. I can do it. I live on Maui. It's insane, but I can still handle it. It's a lot of work, but I love this stuff so much. But intraday, I can't focus on more than 4 stocks at one time, and you wouldn't dare be in more than 2 positions at one time intraday. That's just me. We can't all be scalpers. I'm not a scalper. So before we get to this loser and the new long signal, let's just really quick just show you some of the winning positions that we're still long at bigwavetrading.com. Now, unfortunately, for the first one I'm going to show you, CRTX, I should still be long this name. However, on this day here, for some odd reason, I made a clerical error that session and did not resplit my sell stops. So following this day and then these subsequent days, somehow I had 100% of my remaining shares at a profit target of 35.79, this bar's high of day. So on this day here, whenever it triggered and took me out for profits, I went to go change and split it up, and the next profit target on CRTX probably wasn't going to be until this bar or this bar. So I was going to go split it up and put it at 47.50, or what is that high? Yep, 47.50, but I checked and it showed I have 0 shares. And I go and I relook, and it looks like following this session, I put them all right here. I did not split them up appropriately, which I'm still confused as how I did that. But the bottom line is, still, I wrote this one from our entry. This was our signal date. This is what it looked like. Bullish hammer reversal candle on heavier above average volume pocket pivot point signal, increasing green bop. The trigger was 2336, triggered and filled the next session, and wrote it up to then. There are members that are still long this stock, and those that are still long CRTX are enjoying a 68% gain in 1 month. So just keep that in mind whenever we go over my one big loser from Friday. And it was my only big loser. Only one. Didn't have any other outlier moves in any kind of position that I was sized in besides this one stock that we'll go over. You'll be surprised to see which one it is too. Remember, it was down 30% on the day. So pretty amazing. So 68% gain in 1 month on CRTX. Then we got a more new long position that hasn't done as much, but still it's moved higher immediately. Right here, show you what I was showing. I'll tell you what I was seeing. Bullish hammer candle over hammer candle, above average volume, increasing green bop. QURE is part of my Perfect Speculator scan based on the book, The Perfect Speculator by Brad Kodeshwar. It's my #1 top scan. So I go long QURE, get filled the next day. Little rocky, but still never hit my final sell stop. And for now, QURE in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sessions, we have a 13% gain. I'm loving it. NBSE, we don't have a big gain there, but I just wanted to show you a new long position that we took. NBSE signal was right here. It's from my Perfect Speculator scan. Increasing green bop, above average volume, hammer candle off strong price support. I got filled on this session here because on these sessions, whenever it triggers, I don't have enough capital available to get long NBSE. So it triggers on my end, but it's canceled by the Interactive Brokers Trader Workstation system. And then I just have to call it back on once it trades back below only 697. Once the bid asking price is below 697, I get an alert, call it back on. Got filled this session. NBSE, we're up now. I think I always go from here and then reduce. So it's a 10% gain since we went long and we've only been in it a couple of days. So not too bad there. And then, of course, I showed you that big winner from last week, CZZ. It just keeps hitting new highs. What's our gain now in there? 47% in a little under 4 months. Gotta love it. And we'll do 3 more. UBOT, Daily Robotics, Artificial Intelligence, and Automation ETF. Love it. This was its signal date here. Showed everybody what it looked like there. Bullish hammer, candle over candle, above average volume, increasing balance of power. UBOT was in my Perfect Speculator scan, just like NBSE, just like QURE. And so far, it's been great. Now, right now, my final stop has been adjusted, and it's right here. So this is where my final stop is on the position. But currently, UBOT, 29% gain in a little under 2 months. Not bad whatsoever for an ETF. Very thin, illiquid ETF, but I got filled, which means if I got filled, you probably got filled because everybody can front run me at bigwavetrading.com. Everybody receives the trades that I'm going to make the next day before I even enter them into the Interactive Broker system. So every member of bigwavetrading.com gets to front run me before I actually take my trades. And then we'll do 2 more just to show you how things are working. ACA. This was the initial long signal. ACA is from my CanSlim scan, I do believe, not from my Perfect Speculator scan. But bullish, candle over candle, heavier volume than the session before. And even though green bop is not increasing, it's still at a high level. I like this overall pattern. I like how there's no red balance of power. I see only 1, 2, man, these don't really count for me. I really only see 1 tall red volume bar since the pullback here. There is one over here, but with no accompanying red bop. This is a very nice chart, and I like it. Goes sideways. I believe that this was an add signal right here on ACA. Finally, triggers up and through. Remember, it's got to trade over the high of the day here. So 38.50 did not trigger this day. So even though right here it traded 38.51 on this day, notice how there's not a white arrow. That means even though it traded above 38.49, it either triggered and did not fill on my end, and I know for a fact what happened. It didn't even trigger on my end, and or it triggers and just doesn't fill because it runs without me. But either way, finally triggers and fills on this day. I don't remember if I got a full 2% position in this or if it was just that initial signal. But either way, ACA, it's been smooth sailing since the long position. And from the initial entry, we have a 13% gain in 1 month. Very nice gain. And the last one we'll go through, DCPH, because this is the nice big winner. DCPH is from my perfect speculator scan. This is an intelligent trend join trade. The reason why it's not a chase is because it's not extended from this consolidation start highs. So if this, because here it's extended from the 5-day moving average, I will not buy a stock extended from the 5-day moving average if it's already up and away in its trend extended from the consolidation point. But if it's not extended from the consolidation point, I've seen these patterns a lot in my lifetime that I know that you can do an intelligent chase by having your first stop here and your final stop here. DCPH has been extremely smooth. It got a little rocky here, had some tight stops here, so unfortunately I've been actually shaken out of 50% of the original position, but not everybody at Big Wave Trading has. So if you've been trading on an end-of-day basis, which is, I'll show you really quick why I don't recommend that per se, you have a 59% gain in a little under 2 months. Extremely impressive. So all of that was just to show you that we have winning positions, because what I'm about to show you now is the reason why I love stops. So I kept the arrow on this chart. I've already gone through my stocks, and normally I would remove the arrow, but I just wanted to show you where I got long VNCE. So VNCE, this session right here, is the VNCE is in my perfect speculator scan. Once again, it's my top scan. When I get signals from this scan, whenever everything's lined up in the market, which by the way, the market for the first time since 2018 January highs is at a new all-time high on heavier above average volume. Every other move into new all-time highs has never come with any volume surge. All the above average volume surges that you see in this chart comes with the market below all-time highs. That Thursday move was the first move at all-time highs and above average volume. Step 1 is there. My monthly TSV going bullish is step 2. Once that happens, I can start loading up on stocks. I can start putting 5-10%. Never ever would put 20% of my account capital in any one position anymore. The end of the day account's too big for that. I would never risk that much capital. I got to be somewhat safe because I live on Maui and I have to take care of myself via my trading profits. So I don't like losing money, which is why I do what I do with stops. So VNCE triggers here, candle over candle, heavier above average volume, pocket pivot point signal, increasing green bop. I get long VNCE the very next day it fills. Barely fills. The high here is 22.72. But I got filled at 22.70. Now, what's amazing about this is where I got lucky. So on the VNCE trade, immediately I set up after I get filled, I set my stops. 50% of my stops is at 22.01. The final 50% is right there at 21.71. So immediately I get filled, but if you notice, an immediate heavier volume reversal with it losing green bop. And do you see the low a day there? 22. Amazingly, it clipped me out of 50% immediately on the day that I got filled. At first, I was a little pissed because what does VNC do after that? It moves higher. Moves so much higher, it moves higher in such a nice fashion that it gives me an add signal here. I have a candle over candle, above average volume, increase in green bop, another pocket pivot point signal. I actually gave this out as an add signal, and then when I go to FinViz just to recheck the short float, I see what I did not see the first time I went long, and it's something I preach and teach everyone to always do. Check for earnings. I did not. So with VNCE, I did not add to this position. I removed it as an add signal. And then VNCE started to move higher, and I felt really stupid. 2 days later, I was like, wow, this stock's going to run into earnings. And then at the open on Friday, it gapped up to 26.80, and I regretted not adding to my position whenever it opened up, gapping up. But look at how it closed. Now, what I decided to do is it was moving up. Once it was gapping up here, I really opened up my trailing stops. And I believe I put a stop here, 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 and here. And I'll show you what that looked like right now. So what you're seeing here in reverse chronological order are the executions in VNCE on December 13th, Friday the 13th. You can see the market on my end. I hear people from the West Coast complain about getting up early for the stock market. Get over yourselves. I wake up at 2:33 a.m. every freaking morning on Maui, and I'm a surfer. So there's no excuses for anyone on the West Coast. You guys are blessed to be able to get up when you guys get up for the market open. But bottom line is, the market opens at 4:30 a.m. here, and at 4:57, I see VNCE start triggering, and I'm like, uh-oh. And then as you can see, 5:08. 2 more, 5:32, 2 more, then one at 5:33, and amazingly, it hits that emergency final stop at 7:41. But do you see all of these prices here? Well, I've already done the math for you. So you can pause this video, take a picture of that, do whatever you want with it, what you will. But the stops are even at all of these prices. It's even. So there's 20 shares, I do believe, at all of these prices. There's 20 shares at each and every level. So with VNCE, whenever I went long, the game plan is always the same. It's the good to cancel buy stop limit level. The stop and the limit's always 1 cent above the high of the day of the signal date, 22.70. So I'm long at 22.70. In aggregate, all of those stops together come out to be 21.38. You can do the math for yourself by going and reviewing all those trades, adding them all up, dividing, I believe, by 8. There's 8 stops. $1 for each stop. $8 saved me $7 on 160. What? $8 saved me about $800 by not using stops. So I paid $8 in commissions instead of just having and just selling it at the market and taking an $800 loss on the trade. I believe, if my math is correct, on Monday morning. So that's the beauty of stops. This is why I do what I do. VNCE was a disaster on Friday. 30% loss. Are you kidding me? But yet I walked away, if you do the math, with only a 6% loss total on the trade, which, by the way, before that happened, I was up 9% on it. I round down for winners. I round up for losers. So I didn't lose 6%. If you add up all of those stops, divide by 8, get the total, get the math from the 2270 minus 2138 divided by 2270. I actually lost 5.8% on my account capital instead of 30%. But that's the beauty of stops. That's what this video is all about. This is why I use good to cancel sell stop orders the way that I do. I don't care if I have to pay an extra $7 in commissions if it's going to save me $800 in losses for the times that stuff like this does happen. And if you remember, we did a video lesson, I believe it was on ELMD on this day right here. ELMD collapses intraday, but due to my stop management, I don't take that big of losses. So that now leads us to the one and only long position that I want to make public for everybody, and that's because it is high priced, it is extremely liquid, and it's got such clear, we know exactly where we're wrong. So HD is triggering a bullish hammer candle over candle off the 200-day moving average on above average volume, and BOP is steadily increased to the green balance of power. Home Depot is high quality. I'm pretty sure Home Depot is canceling quality. I haven't checked yet, but it was also my price volume BOP surge scam. But the bottom line is, this is how the trade in Home Depot is going down. A trigger, my good to cancel buy stop limit order. I'll have a stop and a limit order at 214.24 on Monday. Perfect price or no price. If Home Depot triggers and fills me at 214.24, my one and only cut loss level is right there, 210.60. Excuse me. And I recommend, I'm not going to do this on my end because I'm too busy. Got too much stuff to do. Too many positions. Don't care about Home Depot that much. I got other priority positions. But what I would do, if Home Depot was my only trade idea for Monday, I would buy in the money calls, monthly expiration, at least 30 to 45 days out, and or you can sell puts or do a vertical put spread for a credit. It's completely up to you. If you play calls, I recommend taking profits if the stock gets up to these resistance levels and up to this resistance level or the 50-day moving average. Now, I expect Home Depot to blow past these levels and trade to new all-time highs. That's why I'm going long Home Depot. But if you do trade the calls because of theta, I recommend if we get an immediate pop, start taking some profits here and here. And remember, you want to play the 214, 215 calls, the at the money calls, at least 1 month out. You don't want to trade the weeklies. You want to do the monthly expirations. But me, I'm just doing the actual security. 214.24 is my limit. 214.24 is my stop. My one and only cut loss level, if I get filled, my good to cancel sell stop level will be at 210.60, 1 cent below the 12.11 low of day. And that wraps it up for this weekend's video lesson. It was mainly about VNCE and, of course, gave you a new long position. Once again, I want to remind everybody, if you enjoyed this video lesson, please give me a like. Please subscribe, ring that bell, and or if you have any questions, comments, concerns, ideas for future video lessons, feel free to leave a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. All right, everyone, have a wonderful rest of your weekend. And if you're a member of BigWaveTrading.com, I'll see you in the chat room during the pre-market on Monday, where it's going to be a crazy 3 a.m. on Maui. Everybody complains about waking up at 5, 6 a.m. on the West Coast. It just cracks me up. All right, everybody. Aloha.